Welcome to No Man's Sky survival mode. Now, this is a short video about dying in survival mode and feasibility that you may have drawn the short straw and may have a starting position that's basically untenable. You cannot do anything with it. And basically to illustrate that point, I thought, oh, well, I'll make this video. I'm going to try and keep it short, so it's going to be a bit engineered. And so let's get right into it. Now, any of you guys not familiar with survival mode, it was introduced as part of the Foundation update that came out in... I stand inside here while I'm talking. I was off. Preempt the dying. It was introduced as part of the Foundation update, which is No Man's Sky 1.1. It's quite an extensive update, but one of the key changes is there's now 3 modes, which is the standard normal vanilla mode, a content creative mode where it's like almost like a sandbox where you can go off and build the other 2 new features of the game, which is freighters and freighters and bases. So the 2 big missing features everyone was complaining about are actually in the game in a basic form. Hopefully they're going to expand, but the one that interested me is survival mode. It's something that I actually went to the trouble to kind of post a comment about to Hello Games, that the game was just too soft, that there were so many things in the game that you didn't use because you just didn't seem to have a purpose for them. Well, I think they've got revenge on us. They've made this pretty brutal, and what I'm going to talk about here is dying. It may seem a bit grim, and give you the scenario is in the vanilla game you land next to your ship. In survival mode you land near a random base. It could be just a simple base like this, it could be an observatory, or even I think one of my test ones, because I've been restarting just to get a feel for the gaps of what actually changes when the game spawns. I actually landed next to abandoned facility. And you can see here that your ship is a distance. Again, this distance is not predefined. It can be anywhere. I think the shortest distance I got is 4 minutes, and the longest one I've had is 16 minutes. And the same applies to all the resources around here. They're randomly distributed, so there's no guarantee around here that you've got all the resources to get to your ship. And what I'm going to do is just show you what's in the inventory at the moment. We need to repair our visor and the scanner, which I'm going to try and do. Quick tip here: in this initial phase, do not send anything you really need to the ship. It only sends stuff that you don't need, purely and simply because if it goes to the ship, it will be too far away and you won't be able to use it. I've been stood here yapping on. I need to kind of get in here, warm up, and then we'll try and get out and grab some resources to start. I want to repair the visor and scanner before I actually die, because I'm actually going to consciously let myself die just to illustrate a point. And I'm going to grab the iron. Resource wise, this starting location isn't too bad. It may seem like that, but it can vary considerably. Well, and I did make a video where I actually played, and I thought I was being a bit hard done by, but I actually did manage to get to the ship after quite a long walk, and it was brutal. It was literally on the knife edge, and at the time I thought, this is very brutal, but didn't occur to me the fact that it's a very, very real possibility that you can actually have a starting position where you cannot actually get to where you're trying to get to. That there, we need 80 carbon. So let's see if we can find some carbon around here. Got no scanner. So we're going to have to try and get up to those trees. And actually, bugger. Got to be careful that you don't fall. If you fall, the consequences like that are a lot more worse than in the vanilla game. Everything's a lot more worse. The sentinels are a lot more aggressive. This planet, it says they're relaxed, but I can assure you that if you harvest too aggressively, they're going to attack. And at this point in this, when you're first starting out, the only kind of, unless you're lucky to find a cave, you've got to keep an eye out how far you're away. I mean, I will show that later on, and that's be enough to repair the scanner. Another quick tip: use carbon to recharge your mining beam, purely and simply because the plutonium is quite rare. The resources are a lot less now than they used to be. Right, so I've now got that there. I'm just going to show you the inventory, just to show that I'm not conning you. Got a bit of iron in there, and what we're going to do is go up there and collect that thallium and grab a few resources. I'm just going to run around, and I am going to get myself killed, because it may seem crazy, but I just want to illustrate this point. Down here, you can see here, I'm going to be very careful on this terrain. Another point, scanner takes a very, very long time to recharge as well. And actually I'm going to stay close to the base so that I can illustrate this point. Let's just go and get the technology around the back here. We'll grab the technology. Not that there's going to be much use at the moment. Don't think I can. So let's just hang around and let myself die. Die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Offline, right. So we'll just stand here. No, stand away from save point. This is another point where I'll talk about. They give you a save point here, because normally in the vanilla game you would save by getting into your ship. But because you don't have a ship, you've got to use this save point, and I do recommend that as soon as you start the game, as soon as you arrive, drop a save. Yep. Yes. Just gonna let myself die, and I think if I show this to you, I've got half life support, my hazard protection is gone, mining beam is at 79%, so I'm slowly dying. So if you imagine I was trying out there to gather resources, I know I'm stood here letting myself die, but I think this is quite an important point that's certainly well worth illustrating. Wow, we are dying. Dying big time. So, I think three more hits. Seems to be a time thing, that once your thermal shield's gone, you get that and life goes down one at a time. So 2 more hits and we'll be gone. It's saying seek shelter, but so we're just gonna stand here. 1 more hit and then we're gonna be dead. Suicide, no man's side suicide. No, I shouldn't say that. So, now if you imagine I was trying to run across the terrain, and it'd be 80%. There we are. There's a difference between the fact that the universe is inherently unfair on the cosmic level and the fact that life is unfair because people are actively making it. So, John Scovelsey. You can see I've died. It says a generation. You do get back a full thermal bar, and they are quite kind that they actually give you a. You get, but you don't lose your mining beam. But you can see my analysis visor has been damaged, and the scanner's been damaged again. And more importantly, everything I had in here is gone. Now, that doesn't seem like such a big issue, but in other places it wouldn't be such a big issue. But I kind of run up here, see the resources that I've actually harvested over here have gone, and the trees that I've cut down have gone. So if you imagine that, which kind of leads me into the next point I want to do is, and I've kind of hinted at it already, that if for some reason you're on a very, very sparse resources, let's say this one's not too bad because there's plenty of trees around, but there's most likely starting positions where there's very few trees around. I think my video I made originally, I was really scrabbling around for carbon, and try and run for it back over, try and get back. Yeah, so every time you die you consume resources. If the resources aren't, especially like that Famian 9, so let's see if I can find some more. Yeah, we got the scanner here. The irons don't have much iron. So, and I've got the scanner now, so if I kind of throw out here, see that there's very, very few resources around. Here, try and grab the iron. That sentinel buzzing around with me, and they get bull sheep very, very quickly now. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough, so I'm just going to reiterate with this part what I'm trying to get across. One, dying has consequences in the fact that you lose your inventory, you get key your scanner, analysis visor and everything else gets destroyed or damaged, which means you've then got to go and get more resources to repair that. And if you think about it, if I'd stocked up on kind of need to build shielding shards and power gels and to do your spaceship, and if you'd stocked up on these are quite expensive to make, especially with the platinum and the plutonium. As you can see, so far I've gone round here and I haven't found any platinum or plutonium yet. I don't know what this is. Oh, that's interesting. Cause a gun, hazmat gauntlet required. That must be new technology. Seen that before. Oh well, there's something new. And see here, well, there's some thallium up that way, which we might be able to go and get. But this is where I'm going to round off. So if you do want to play survival mode, if you do land on a planet and you keep dying or there's no resources, you will have to concede defeat, because the very nature of No Man's Sky being procedurally generated means that there is no guaranteed path to the ship. There's no games designer who's sat down and said, well, if this person follows this exact path, which is often with other traditionally built games, like things like Fallout 4. I mean, I play that on survival mode, and you know that if you can work out the correct strategy, survive the game. But there's an acceptance, especially in this initial phase with No Man's Sky, that may not actually be able to get to the ship. You may not actually be able to survive, that you're actually in a scenario where you can die, because in the patch notes it actually says that there will now be planets that will not have key resources on. So it's very possible that in survival mode you can land on a planet and not find the necessary resources to take off again. So this is all things to bear in mind by playing survival mode, and I think that's about it. I think I've rambled on long enough, and I will be doing future updates if I find anything interesting. If I can find some time, I will do maybe a video on freighters and bases, which is the two other big new features that have been added as part of the Foundation course. They look very, very interesting. So on that note, guys, hope you enjoy your gaming, and do not smash your keyboard up or your controller in frustration with trying to play survival mode. Until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.